And I think we're live. Just going to let people... I'm a fraction early, actually, because normally I start this around about 10 o'clock my time, so it's 10 minutes early. So I'll just put the clip on in a second to let people know that I'm live. Let me know, too, in the chat if the audio sounds okay, because I've changed a bit around this week. So let me know if that's all working. And what we'll do while we're waiting on everyone to come in, we'll just put on the video. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Yo! Back from weddings. I've had weddings the last few weeks, so I haven't been able to do a live show. So let me know if the audio and everything's okay, because I have been trying to change my setup. It's a lot different now than what I was doing before, so let me know if everything's okay. Love to know that. I'm just going to... Oh, I've got a lovely Aussie white here. Can't say names. I think you get blocked, but anyway, cheers. I know it's only 10 o'clock, but, you know, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So let's see who's here. Mr. YouTuber said, "G'day, how are you?" Panda, I'm not sure what that means. Panda, how are you, buddy? Good to see you in here. Rui says, from Alabama, hello, everyone. Panda saying hello from the streets in New York there. Howdy from gloomy Oregon coast. Yeah, it's cold here now. We're going into winter, so, it's starting to get a bit cold out there now. Although it's not like the European winters, that's for sure, but we are cooling down. What else have we got? Panda says the audio is okay, which is good, so I'm glad. Like I said, I've changed my whole system around. I've put the ATM on this side and the audio's on this side. I've got some mixers and stuff down the bottom here. I'll have to show you a different camera because I can show you my whole setup. I wonder if I can just quickly turn that on. Let's see if I get access to it. Let me go. I can't do it from the video, can I? Let me just see. I'm just going to see if it will show up. Camera, let's see. iPhone camera, let's see what happens. Oh, I think that. Come on, you can go on. Come on. Hang on, let me check a new scene, see if I can bring it in that way, because I'll show you this whole setup. It's really different. I know we've gone blank, but let me just go here. All right. So, this is my mixing station. Let me just turn this on so you can sort of see it all. So that's the mixer that I'm using. They're motorized faders and stuff like that, so that's all that. I'm going to use this for all my music stuff as well. This one here is a solid state Logic. This is a bus. It's actually a compressor in the middle over here, and it's an SSL strip on this side and this side. So this all goes through Logic that I'm using now as well. You can even see that it's got a meter, which I love over there. It's got a actual mechanical meter. Down this side, I've got, this is a drum machine, also a piano that I use when I'm doing music. I've got a couple of Stream Decks, I should say here. New speakers, there's Focal, or Focal, I think they're called, studio monitors that I've got connected through here as well. This is showing me my YouTube, show my upload speed and all this sort of stuff on there. Now, I'm not using the web presenter, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm using straight out through just the ATM, so I'm not using that. That's why there's no oh, it does tell you the streaming rate. Well, there you go. So it's showing me the streaming rate that I've got here at the moment, saying I've got 8. Now I need 12 to go up on the 4K that I'm using at the moment, and it's saying it's showing as 8, and I don't think I've been dropping out, so it looks like it's okay. This is obviously my big monitor that I'm using here. I do have another monitor that I've got up there that I use for recording from the ATM Mini. Up there, the ATM 2ME. Up there is, how I can see all the camera angles and everything else. I haven't got the other cameras live at the moment. There's one down here that I use. That's the A9, and I'm using that to get my pedals and stuff, which is all down here that I use for when I'm playing guitar. So I've got that for the A9. Also, I'm using the A7S3, which is through here, doing the front on that you can see at the moment. And then over here is the other speaker that I've got. A couple of hubs that I'm using down here as well. My M1 Mac Pro is here. Obviously, the keyboard is here as well, and my Wacom tablet is here as well. And I've got a actual loop deck that I use here too. Over this side, I've got a hard drive SSD there that I use that's connected to the MacBook because the hard drive, even though this is a, I think it's a 2 terabyte, yeah it is, it's a 2 terabyte model, I've got that there as well that I can use to give me extra storage, and that's SSD as well. Obviously a mouse, gaming mouse, but I love it. Now this is interesting, I've got a cooler that's under here that's keeping the ATM 2ME cool, and I've got a Thunderbolt Quantum 2626, which I use for my music. Web presenter is what I'm streaming out of at the moment. Just another hub that I've got through there. And then over here, there's another hub here that has 2 hard drives in this one, an SSD, and also, I know the volume's going to go, also a normal hard drive in there. That's where my ZV-10 is, and that is pointing back towards where I play guitar. And then I have another monitor which is over there so I can see myself when I'm playing guitar as well. So it's a decent setup now. I'm still learning how to use all of this, so I've got to do that for the music. It is working for this. I think if I bring this down, it will lower the volume, as you could see there. So it is actually working for the volume as well. So I can use that mixer. And I'm actually using this, the SSL channel strip here. I'm using this to stop the fan noises from the air conditioner and stuff, because I'm actually using your filters through here set up so it takes out all of that low end noise from the fans and stuff. So yeah, there you go. So let me just disconnect and then I'll bring it back over to me. Disconnect. I better put this on silent actually. Oh, it is on focus, I think, is it? Yeah, it is now. So that's the setup that I'm using. Let me just still see who's here just so we can make sure we say hello to everyone. Howdy from Gluing. I read that before. It's way better audio and your voice is excellent as usual. Thanks, mate. Hi, David from Boston. Stuart is saying 9:58. Altric's also here. G'day, Altric. And Antonios, is saying hi from Greece. I'm getting a wine burp. All right, so let's go. Let's start talking about some of the news stories that we've got today. Now, I wanted to bring this one up just quickly because I noticed Sony Alpha Rumors shared this morning that they shared my video actually saying he will never buy another flagship Sony camera again, and it's had 103 comments. Some of them are interesting that are in there, have a go at me and stuff. Oh, well, like I said, I'm too old to worry about that now. Who cares? But it's interesting that the Sony ambassador, now this is interesting, Kobe Brown also gave his answer to the video, and I just thought I'd mention this before we start looking at some of the rumours and stuff like that. But I noticed that Colby Brown said, here is my take. This is on my video that I did. Can Sony be more transparent about updates? Sure. All manufacturers can do better here. Would I like an update to the A1? Absolutely. Every user wants their gear to get new features. Is the A1 still the best camera in the market for my needs doing wildlife, landscape, travel, and astro, etc.? Absolutely. Now, this is where sometimes, look, I don't know, he's a Sony ambassador. He can't say anything wrong against Sony here at all. And that's just the fact of when they become ambassadors or sponsored by these people, they can't say anything bad about it. So I disagree there, because he's actually saying that can he get better for doing wildlife, landscape, travel, and astro? Now, if I'm correct, and someone can tell me in the live chat that it has the A1, I haven't got the A1, but does the A1 have video IAF for birds and stuff? I just don't know if that was the case. And also, remember, they did market when that was released, the A1, as a hybrid camera. It is classified as a hybrid camera, but I noticed now the marketing has changed. And I read that somewhere as well, and it said in the marketing, they've now termed it as being more of a stills camera, not a hybrid camera. Let me just get rid of this. I don't know why that's come up with that. Look, for shows, I don't know. What is that thing coming up? I think it's AI has popped up. Yeah, you can see it too. How do I get rid of that? I don't know how to get rid of it. How do you get rid of that? Oh, there it goes. It's just gone. I think that's part of the AI popping up. I'm not sure. Anyway, you can't tell me that the lens breathing would not help with video, particularly on the A1 if you wanted to use that. Remember, it's got 8K. Now, you can't tell me if you wanted to do beautiful video on that wouldn't help. So I don't agree with you, Colby, what you're saying. Look, I understand you're saying that it's got everything that you need, and I completely understand that. But I still think, and I still will stick to my original video saying that I will never buy another high-end, the flagship Sony camera again. I won't. I'm going to wait and buy the one that comes after that because it always has these other features that are then available. Is the A1 still, it probably is, yes, still the best camera that's out there, probably with the Nikon Z9. They're pretty close actually now, but they still could improve it. And I get all these people saying yes, but, you know, they want you to buy the latest gear. And this is my argument, that with the iPhone, for instance, they're always updating it and people still go out and buy the next camera. The next iPhone that comes out. They always will, but it doesn't stop Apple from adding upgrades to that. Now, if you're happy with the system the way it is, fine. If you're not, like me, I think they should be giving us more in firmware, and you know, and that's really all I'm going to say about this. But I just thought that Colby was being a little bit. He's being a little bit Sony ambassador-ish there, I thought, in his comment. It also said, will these people complaining in YouTube comments of that video jump at the first chance to buy a new A2? Well, some may. I will not. There's no way I will buy a flagship camera again, and I've said that to you, and I will stick to it. I will not do it until Sony change their policy. So I don't agree with what he's saying there. If you do, that's fine on you. He said the internet thrives on complaints, not on people actually sharing the successes they have had with the gear they use. And again, I disagree with that. I showed you a video at the start of this that I did with Rebecca. And also, unlike most, Colby, unlike, I don't know what you do, you might be a full-time working professional, I don't know, but unlike most YouTube sort of ambassadors and all that stuff, I am a full-time working photographer, and that's why I haven't been able to go live for 2 weeks. I'm going to leave it at that. But when I think you say that it's, thriving on complaints and it's just YouTubers doing this sort of stuff, I disagree completely. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because I'd love to know your opinion about that. So let's go anyway on to the first story today, and we'll discuss the A6700 rumours that are coming out. Now, this is due. Remember, it's going to be interesting to see where they market this at, because if you think about it, now did I switch back over? No, I've got to go back to here. Now I've worked out a problem that I've got. How can I get around this? Because I'm not showing you my screen. Oh, I can do it this way, actually. Let me go try this. Actually, it's number 5. And I have to drag this over to here. And then that should work. I think. No, it didn't. Let me just check this. I've got to see if I can fix this. This is one thing I didn't try later on because of this new setup. Let me open up ATM software and just see if I can fix this. Output 1. Let me go. I think it's output 2. It's going to be 1ME. All right. Let me drag this over here. I've got to make it a bit smaller. Sorry about this, guys, but I will get back to this. I didn't realise that it wasn't showing. Let me go even smaller. I can't go too small because those ads are going to get in the way. No. Oh. Should have checked this, David. How can I get around this? I know what the problem is. I've got to put another USB lead in. I've got to put another USB lead into the ATM, but I can't get in the back of this at the moment. Let me just see. Let me go back to me. Auto. Just trying to think how I can fix this. How do I share the screen? I just want to show you the actual screen, what I'm talking about, because it's much easier if I can't, I'm just going to just talk about it. Yeah, I'll just talk about it, won't matter. All right, so I'll just discuss it with you. I'll fix it for next week so that we can get through all this. But anyway, there's a rumor coming out that there's a new A6700 that's coming with a front screen wheel and a larger body. So in other words, it's like the normal A6500 or 400, but it now has a new wheel at the front. And they're basically, it looks, when I'm looking at I'll leave the links down below so you can check this out a little bit later on, but it looks like when you're having a look at it that it's basically the same body as before, apart from this new front wheel that's there. I think they probably could, well, there's two ways of thinking about this. Do you guys think that they should have a new body in this? I think it's probably time that they did think about changing the body. I do like the size of it, though. Like, if you look at like I said, the ZV-10 behind me, it's a really nice body if you want to travel small. But I was sort of hoping that they would put something like an A7 III body that they could use, and then you'd have a lot more room inside for cooling, for instance. And also for things like the IBIS would have more room to move around and do all things like that. But, I mean, I haven't got an issue with the A7 III size. In fact, if you go back to the A7 III, that camera body is really quite small. It's much smaller than, say, when they're using the A6500, that sort of body that's out there now. It's much smaller than that. So I think if they could do it, I would like them to, say, modify the body a little bit more. But having said that, some of you guys may say, well, look, I love the size of that. It's great for travel, which it is, because it's very, very small. I just think if you're putting larger lenses on sometimes, some of the longer length lenses, it can be a little bit unbalanced. So, I'm not sure whether I probably would like them to change the body, but let me know what you think about that. I'm hoping that they do still have an EVF, and that's why I'm saying an A7 III body would be fantastic for this, because they could have an EVF on that camera. They could also, have your proper flash mount in there. The pop-up flash I did like in the earlier ones, because they could just have that. That was quite handy, and I used to hold the pop-up flash up and bounce it off the roof, and I did find that quite good. So, that was interesting in itself, how that works. So, I won't try and switch it across, because it's, like I said, it's going to cause an issue. I'll fix it for next week, though. I'll have that working. But looking at it, it looks like it's going to be the same body. Now, let me just read to you some of the things that they're saying here that it will have. Now, they're saying that it's going to be shipping out in August. The announcement obviously will be before that. I still think an A9 III probably will come out before this. I'm still sort of predicting that's probably what's going to happen. But they're saying with this it'll be August. So they'd probably announce this, in May, June, July, say? Late June, July. They're saying the name is going to be the A6700. It's going to have a 26 megapixel sensor, same as the FX30 sensor. So it's going to be exactly the same as that one. IBIS is going to be 7 stops. AI processor, same as the ZV-E1. So this, again, is going to grab some of those features from the ZV-E1 coming down into this as well. It's going to have 4K 120, a 1.9 crop. If they have that, that's going to be incredible. But I don't mind that crop. Look, I'd still prefer to have the 4K 120, even though that's quite a substantial crop. I'd prefer to have that. But, it's interesting. What else have we got here? It says the body will be a new design. It will still have the EVF on the left, but it will have a scroll wheel on the front under the shutter button. Now, let me just see if I can bring this back again, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. I'll try and do it through the iPhone so that you can see. Let me just click here for a minute. Camera, let me go. Is iPhone going to come up? No, once you've quit it, I think that's it. No. Oh. No, it's not going to show up. Oh well. You'll have to look at that links that I'll leave down below, and I'll post that for you so that you can see that. So it looks like it's exactly the same body, apart from that little dial at the front. Now, whether it's going to have the Z battery in there, I'm not sure. I mean, that's why I think too it'd be great if they had an A7 III and you could stick the new the Z battery in it, and also you could have, like I said, that little bit larger body, more room for the IBIS to move, and a better EVF and stuff like that. So that's what I would love it to actually bring up. Basically the same sensor as the FX30. Which seems like it's a really good sensor, and the AI processing is the ZVE1. So it looks like it's going to be probably like a mix between the FX30 and the ZVE1. What else are they saying here? The body will be about 3mm deeper and 4mm taller. Oh, okay, so it is a fraction larger than what the A6500 body is there. So announcement beginning of July, they're saying. So that's that. So, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I love these cameras. I love them particularly for travel, and I use them always as a B camera when I'm in weddings and stuff. So I actually use, like I said, my A9 and the A7S III, and then as a B camera, I'll use the ZVE10, and I'll put the 10 to the 10 to 18mm on that to get the images that I like, and I love that. So that's what I use. In fact, did I have that? I could show you one if I've still got it here. Yes, I have. Let me see if I can just bring this over for a second. I'll see if I can open this up. So this was done with it. It's not actually showing the whole thing, actually, but this image here, I can't switch to it again, can I? Because it's not switching. Oh, so frustrating. Oh, well, I can't show you. I have got one that I took with it, and actually the quality of the ZVE10, if you're using for stills, is amazing. I've got some great images, and like I said, I always use it for wide angle stuff with the 10 to 18mm, and even though, you know, that's not an amazing lens, it's certainly good enough for what I do. And like I said, a pity I can't show you, but yeah, it's just not set up right, but I will set up this all up for you all next week. Flippy screen. Someone just said a flippy screen would be great. I agree. It'd have to have that. I mean, I've got no doubt that it would have that. I'm sure they won't go back to, you know, not giving that in this sort of camera. It's going to be interesting to see how they market this as against, say, the FX30, isn't it? I mean, if it's a sort of mix between the FX30, as they're saying up here, and what were they saying? It's going to be like the same sensor as the FX30, and also the AI processing of the ZVE1. So where are they going to market this? As a vlogging camera or as a stills camera, a hybrid? It's going to be interesting to know. Again, 4K 120, I think it will probably overheat, and that's why I'm saying it would be better if they went something like a, you know, like a larger A7 III type body. But it's 007 said the ZVE1 overheats reportedly even before the promised 4K 120 update. Look, I've got no doubt it probably will, but you'll find, though, that if you're shooting in these higher sort of sample rates, that you only shoot for a few seconds. So I'm not really that fussed about things overheating, because for me, if I'm shooting weddings, there's no way I'd be shooting 4K 120 for, say, you know, 10 minutes. Like, that's a ridiculous amount of footage. I end up only sort of shooting for, at that, well, if I want to slow it down, I only usually shoot for, say, 15, 20 seconds, something like that. So, you know, it's usually okay with that. Where you'll have issues is if it's a hot day and it just overheats basically with just turning it on, and that can be an issue. If it overheats by using it for a fair amount of time, I'm okay with that. But what I do need is to be able to, say, shoot, you know, for, say, 15, 20 seconds, stop for a little bit, let it cool down, and then shoot for another 15, 20 seconds again, you know, fairly soon after that. But if you can work around it that way, I'm quite comfortable with using it without it overheating. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out in that respect. I will come back to the chat a little bit later, though, guys, so I'll answer all those questions. Another one I wanted to talk about too, again, sorry I can't show you, but Sigma, the 85 1.4 was tested by this, it's called optical limits. And they're saying in here that it is among the best 85 millimeter lenses that we've tested so far. So that's really interesting. And again, look, Sigma, anyone that's used Sigma knows it's going to be a big honking body. It's not going to be light like what the Sony lenses are, etc. But, you know, or even the Samyang and stuff. But it's going to be a big lens. But it's built like a tank. And obviously the results are really, really good. And again, I'll leave the links for that down below so you could have a look at the lens itself and check out what they're saying about that as well. But they're saying basically that the peak quality is around f4 and nothing short of outstanding. Image quality distortions are visible in RAW files but easily auto-corrected. What else is it saying? Yeah, so it's a 1.485 DN lens. Let me go to this other one, and while rumours are happening, this is the last story, and I'm going to come to chat, but it says the while rumours are that there's going to be a 300 2.8 GM to be announced in May. So that's really quite exciting as well. Be interesting to see if they can do some voodoo on that as well and keep the size down. They're saying that the Sony 300 2.8 GM will be announced the end of May. And it's going to be the lightest 300 2.8 with the fastest AF and closest minimum focus distance on the market. Although Andre has said too, I would be very surprised if this turns out to be true. Therefore, take it with a big grain of salt. That would be pretty exciting. I mean, if you could get 300 2.8 and be reasonably light and and small, wow, that would be absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it's a bit short on news today. So let's open up Q&A and we'll go through some of these. So if you have any questions, fire away. David said hi from Boston. Altric was saying hi. Richard said greetings from Las Vegas. G'day, Richard. Stuart said here that camera is shocking a lot. The camera is shocking a lot, mate. How many morning wines have you had? Oh, it's shaking. Oh, let me have a look. Oh, I know why. Yeah, it's just touching at the back there. What I've got is I've got the A7S3 on a monopod at the back, and I think, like I said, because this whole system's changed, I'll iron all of these out for next week. I think it's just touching the edge of the bench so that when I'm touching something on the bench, yeah, it's moving. I'll fix that as well. Thanks for letting me know, though, Stuart. It probably is all those wines. That entry video was a masterpiece. Oh, thank you so much, Philip. Really appreciate that. Stuart said, camera is shaking a lot, mate. I went back to that. Sting said, good morning, David. Greg said, g'day, Greg, how are you? What's he saying? I think Sony have been remiss in not releasing updates. Even if they are just incremental, it would help their standing a lot, particularly for the high-end that can't even use the new Creative Cloud. Yeah, I know. Apparently, though, there's issues at the moment with that new firmware. Was it for the A7R4 or 5? I can't remember, but there's a problem with that cloud update or something with the new firmware. EOJ said, hey, I finally hit a live show. How are you, buddy? It's not been the best one today. I've had stuff going wrong all over the place. It'll be fixed for next week, though, so sorry, guys. Flippy up LCD for the A6700. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I've got no doubt that will be in the next camera. I think they'll stick with that now. Like I showed you before, 0007 said the ZVE10 overheats reportedly before it's the promised 4K 120 update. So that's, yeah, the lower resolution. So interesting. Oh, good point. 120 is only for clips. Yeah, it's only, like I said, it's just to slow it down. So you're not going to be filming for a long time with those anyway. So I wouldn't be too worried about the overheating. Sony ain't going to do crap until Canon announces the R1. Terry also said, morning, David. Chris, g'day, Chris. How are you? Chris said, hello, David. Made it to you. Nice in Los Angeles and a good day for a Miller Lite. Cheers. Where's my thing over here? Yeah, cheers. I need this today, though. it's gone a bit off the rails with all of the videos not working. But, oh, well, it is a new setup. I'm always changing things and causing issues. Sting said, I wonder how the 300 2.8 from Sony would stack up against the 100 to 300 from Canon, price and size-wise. Yeah, because that is a really good size lens too. Not sure. Well, Andre was saying still that he thinks it's not true, but, I mean, I'm hoping it's true, but it will be interesting. All the G Master lenses really have been superb. They really are. I mean, I'm using the 24 1.4 here, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And you know, I love the 135 that I've got as well. The G Masters are amazing. Like I said, apart from that focus breathing issue, like for image sharpness, they're amazing. They're unbelievably fast in autofocusing with these linear triple motors that they've got in them, and they're just superb lenses. They really are. Greg said, why are there issues? They should test better. This is not the time they release buggy software updates. Yeah, I know. It's. I heard it was on Sony Alpha Rumors. Let me just see if I can find it for you. Let me just open up another page, and I'll tell you which camera it was. Where did I read it? I read it this morning when I was looking through the specs. So let me just scroll through to see if I can find it for you. Still scrolling. Okay, yeah, so it's the latest A7 It's this A7 IV firmware 2. They're saying the FTP and smartphone transfer issues, there's issues with that. So it may not be that it's getting uploading. It's just saying that there's problems with the FTP and smartphone transfer. Anyway, so yeah, so there's an issue with that. So if you've updated to that firmware, there may be some issues. I'll leave that down the link below so you can have a read of that as soon as we're finished here, and you can check that out to see what was going on with those firmware updates. So yeah, so if you did want to transfer large images by FTP or your fart or your smartphone transfer, not the fart transfer, I love it. I'm going to have some more wine, I think. You got issues with that firmware. Let me keep going with these. Chris said, waiting to see the new magic Sony puts in the A9 III. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Chris, isn't it, to see what goes on with that camera. It might be amazing. Well, I'm sure it is going to be amazing. Chris Wong said, good morning, David, as well. I've reached the end of the chat. Is there any more questions? I apologize today, guys, for not being able to show the screens that we're looking at. I'll fix that for next week. It's I couldn't get around it. It's because I've got this whole new setup that I'm using this week, and this is the first live I've done because I've been working. I've been doing all weddings and stuff all week, the last couple of weeks. So, and then yesterday I got some new gear that I got in, paid for them all. So, but I got some new gear brought in, and I've been setting it all up. So I've got a few issues, but I'll sort them out for you all next week. Greg said the A9 III will need to have 50 frames per second. It will be interesting, Greg, won't it, to see what it has. I can't wait to see. I mean, you think about it, it's been a long time between updates, hasn't it? Between the A9 II. So and remember the A9 and the A9 II. The A9 II really was only an incremental upgrade. It wasn't that big an upgrade, really, if you look at it. I know there was some differences, but I still stand by the fact that I don't think it was a massive upgrade. That's why I never upgraded to that one. So I think the A9 III will be a much more substantial upgrade. So it's going to be interesting to see where they market that and what features they're going to put in it. It's going to be actually really quite interesting. And again, are they actually going to be giving this more of the still side and then leave out some film side? Because I don't know how they're going to do that, because this may be, if it's an amazing release with video features, well, then it competes with the A1. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. And then they'll obviously need to bring out the A2 to sort of step up again from that. So it is going to be interesting to see what they put in the A93. Yeah, I agree, Greg. It's going to be really interesting. Thanks, Joe. He said give thumbs up for David. Thank you so much. Great to see you here, Joe, as well. Pity you've come in when nothing's working, but oh well. Canon will have something in that range to compete with. Yeah, true. That is true. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this week. I'm going to now head off and try and fix this. I'm going to have a coffee, but I will try and fix this so that when we do next week's live, I fix everything. A1 can shoot 30 frames per second at 50 megapixels. So the A93 should be able to do 50 frames per second at 24 megapixels. Yeah. Imagine that, though. Imagine shooting 50 frames per second. That would be pretty incredible, wouldn't it? Like I said, it's getting to the stage where you're shooting video, basically, isn't it? I mean, it is really like that. It's like you're shooting at almost 60 frames per second, and then you could slow it down. Like, it's incredible, really, when you think about it. Raymond said, "Hi, Dave. Been forever since I've been here on the live stream. Had a horrible thing happen to me this last October. Had my 135 GM and the 70-200 lens, version 2 lens stolen at a convention. Oh, no. That's awful, Raymond. That's terrible. Hope you had it insured. It's devastating when that sort of stuff happens. I really feel for you, mate. Hopefully you had it insured, but if you haven't, you never get over it. Yeah, Chris said, "Oh my God, that's horrible, Raymond." Yeah, it is. You've got to really hold on to your stuff because you just can't trust anyone these days. I've been seeing a lot of videos like around San Francisco and stuff like that where people have been robbed and stuff. We were there like a couple of years ago, but where people have been robbed and stuff, like photographers are just getting, "Oh, Raymond said he had no insurance. So sorry for you, mate." It's awful because, like just in San Francisco, probably in other places too, but, the people are just walking around and then they get their gear stolen off them. Even the fact of they grab cars and take the gear out of cars. So obviously they're following photographers and they get all the gear, which is, it's just terrible. Anyway, guys, that's it for me for today. I've got to go and fix all of this stuff up, and I'll see you all next week with everything working again. So stay tuned for that. So thanks, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now, guys. If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over. We can take the roller coaster. Everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another